Was popular YouTube, another day, another demo, and finally a debut, another debut. A look at oSee. Now, I really wanted to call this goatsee. Let me explain myself. It's just, actually, I don't have an explanation. It's a pun. And I was like, you know what? I'm probably going to demonetize if I do that, even if there's an extra E on the end. But let's just not go there. I'm not going to do that. This is the guy who has, he's filling a slot in Liquid that needed to be filled for a long time. That's having a player who has the same kind of potential upside as someone like oSee to G2 or whatever. Might be relatively unproven, but did really well in his region with the games that he played, even if they were online. And a Liquid have never really had an elite level opper, even through their 2019 Grand Slam run. They won everything except for the major. They had Nitro opping, and then they had Nafly and Stewie hybriding, and all of them had great rounds, but none of them were primary, thoroughbred, top 10 level oppers, and oSee has that potential. So will he reach it? Totally irrelevant question, right? Because if you're to say they have no idea if he'll reach it, then you're trying to argue that they need to buy an opper from a top 10 team. That's not going to happen, right? That's just not a really reasonable thing to ask for. So that's why G2 picked up oSee. That's why Liquid are trying oSee. I think it makes perfect sense. I think he had a great debut, and we have yet to see oSee on LAN, but I think we got to learn a lot about Liquid. And this game versus FaZe, you're actually watching a T side, so he's not going to be opping as much. So we actually see a lot of rifling, but it's great. Very impactful rounds, moves the rounds along. He's kind of third in on T sides. There's a lot of good supporting utility and hit important shots. And so we'll see that in this game. So I hope you enjoy the demo, and let's get into it. Bow and blow, just like that, we're into the game. oSee, we're going to watch him play on the T side. And the reason we're watching T side is because I can't get off this damn map. Every single demo I watch is on Inferno. So at least to change it up a little bit, we watched a pre-CT side, we watched Magist CT side. Let's try a T side. Now it's the first half of FaZe versus oSee. The upper of all, no, this is I want to know if oSee ops. I actually can't remember. So the thing is that I remember a good CT side from oSee. That's what I think a lot of us pay attention to when we first look at players on new teams is CT sides, what spots they're going to play, what their rotations are like, how their utility usage is. Because T side can be a lot more fluid and dynamic. And it can also be just a lot harder, I guess. So it's interesting because it's harder, but at the same time, I'm not sure what the right word for it is, but it can be even more interesting to watch a CT side and stuff like that. But yeah, we had a 15 kill half here from oSee versus FaZe Clan. Slotting into Team Liquid quite nicely, you know. I actually felt like a lot of the emphasis for the Blast groups was on oSee and how well oSee would play, and he had all the hype in the world, right? But some of the other debuts were equally as interesting. I mean, Dupree Magist switching over to her Vitality, and oSee coming into Liquid, which is such an interesting move. Now, my dream is one day Floppy and oSee play together, because that's a bromance that I need to see again. You know, now that we've got oSee playing so much better than he did last year, improving so much, and Floppy coming back from Valor, I really want to see oSee and Floppy play together. But until then, we've got Liquid. I think it'll happen. That'll be the prophecy. I'll say it's gonna happen. It will happen. oSee and Floppy will play together. I'm willing to make you that I'm willing to say it.
Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
And I'll leave it at that. So what do you do when you see a play like that happen? You go back to the A site. The guy who's supposed to be holding your flank at the bottom of Banana, he has a big advantage. He doesn't have to move. And the big thing actually is that oSee killed Rops on the first peak, because Rops, after he takes damage, he's not going to swing again to try to get that kill. Because if they go B, we had FaZe stacked B. When you see that guy behind you and you kill him, you pretty much know there's not people sitting on the A site, because that would be a silly position to play if Rops is right at the bottom of Banana, holding them on Banana. So what was big for oSee there was actually just getting the kill off the first shoulder. But a few things that were cool, that's cool about, okay, so for people who don't know, he's the online North American Simple. He maxed out all the stats bars last year and playing the online matches with extra salt. In the games that they didn't play well, he always played well. You know, he never dragged the team down or anything like that. We don't know about oSee on LAN, even though we saw him on, on Cloud9. They played Katowice with Floppy, where Floppy had that ridiculous Astralis 1v4. My favorite 1v4 of all time, and then the second favorite is oSee. At the time, oSee was not the player that he is today. So we'll have to see what happens when we go back to LAN, and now that he's on Liquid, we'll most certainly be able to play on LANs. What'll happen? Now, of course, Liquid only made it to the showdown. Qualified to the showdown. You can put it that way. So they don't necessarily get a ticket to the spring final, which would be the big first LAN. So what happened right there was just oSee peeking off the window flash from spawn, and then they double peeked with it to clear out the bottom of Banana. But oSee plugs a hole for Liquid. A huge, glaring, long-standing hole for Liquid. And that is having an elite or potential elite opper on their roster, right? And you could... Oh, you say that and Fallen exists? Bro, do you even remember Luminosity, SK winning 2 majors, Fallen best player in the world? Long time since then. And Fallen also knows and has said he's not coming on to be a star player and take a bunch of space. He's coming on to provide a reasonably good op and to help IGL. But oSee is their monacy, and I wanted to draw some comparisons between some of the debuts. And oSee's debut is pretty good overall, right? Liquid, you can only say so much because Liquid didn't win a map. In the games that were close, like this one, oSee was a very important player, and they got to overtime in this game. And from what we could see, I mean, he was one of the best players in the server when they played their games. I mean, he looked very, very good. And Alish talked about this a little bit. He said that oSee is a lot like himself in the way that Alish will be very analytical and protocol-based and kind of flowchart out his decisions before they happen. Try to figure out, right? It's like that math meme where all the numbers are going on all the time. That's Alish's brain. He's trying to figure out before it happens, what are his decisions? What are his reactions? And he said that oSee thinks about the game in the same ways. Now, the other side of that spectrum is Nafly on the very same team, who Alish called, very intuition-based and has a really great feel for the game. And obviously, Nafly is a straight genius in his own right, but doesn't approach the game in the same way. So Alish likes oSee a lot, and we've kind of seen that oSee has done, in a way, what monacy's done. You could argue versus similarly skilled teams. I mean, NA scene was destroyed when oSee was kind of creaming everybody, but monacy was really playing a lot of the Academy League level games as well. So not exactly the best competition either. The main difference, I think, is that monacy got plenty of experience playing FPL in Europe, so that helps out a lot. But we see what oSee it translated. It did. I think a lot of the times we see a good player is a good player, and that most of the time they don't just magically drop off a cliff versus good teams. Even if they do drop off a bit, it's not like an absurd amount. You can kind of tell if somebody's good. I think that's basically my sentiment, how I feel. Now, there are players like Acor, for example, who's like, yeah, he could not climb that final hurdle of becoming like a really strong, smart tier 1 player that could play versus a tier 1 player. So that's true. There are examples where that's not true, but that's true. That's not true. Chimney Flash. But even while Liquid were on their huge tear during their 2019 run, where they ripped through the Grand Slam, won all those lands, didn't win the major, but won a series of tournaments that's far harder than winning one major. They never had an elite opper. They had Nitro opping, they had Nafly hybriding, and they had Stewie hybriding. But they never had some top 20 opper. on their list. So that's what the idea is with grabbing oSee, and it's something we wanted to see with Liquid for a long time. The part that's a bit awkward about it is that we get Shocks in, and Shocks wasn't bad. Okay, nice try. Shocks wasn't bad, but it isn't amazing. I think this new Liquid definitely lost a little bit, I think, you know, off of their last roster in total, but maybe have more potential with oSee, and maybe Shocks can get comfortable, but Shocks is very optimistic about the whole thing, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. Oh, oSee's already dead in this round. So these supporting grenades help Nitro. See, oSee gets a flash assist there, so Nitro can peek the pocket. And Nitro's kind of looking for a timing where Rain might be barreling down Banana, jumping up on logs or clearing the pocket head first, and then Nitro could take a peek. So that flash and the Molotov helps separate the guy in the back, and the flash helps fight whoever's on Banana, about to peek Nitro. And if they win that duel like we just saw, now we can transpose it to top Banana control. They find a trade here on Kerrigan. This is actually a little bit risky by Kerrigan, but just good spacing as well by Team Liquid, and there's nobody left here on the B site, so they can take. And you can see just off of, you know, Nitro being in the right spot and oSee timing his grenades well, they kind of very cleanly are able to move into the site, get a post-plant 3v3 into a winning position. So we really didn't see much bad to say about oSee, especially on the CT side. So it's more interesting. This is the window flash, so just take a mental image of that. It's a very important flash to know for helping your teammates on Banana. It's very key. And it's cool that oSee got a lot of respect coming into the team. And you can see he's not even they're not making him go first in. They're kind of really using him like a star. He's throwing some supporting grenades, coming in for refrags, that kind of thing. A clean execution on Rain. Not bad. Another nice trade, a critical frag. And the bomb gets planted, and that's it. 3v3 once again. Missed one. Okay, so oSee's going to grab the op. Now, we haven't seen oSee op, I think, so far on the T side, and that's normal for oppers on Inferno T side. It's probably the least opt half for any opper ever in the history of the game. That was my William Shatner. Oh, he just barely caught that. You see that? Oh, okay, that one didn't get caught. They're making noise. So mid control's going to come out. They're going to... I don't know if they mollied just so that they don't get opt here. Oh, they're just attacking very fast. Wow, I love executes like this, honestly. They jump out. They're kind of still looking to clear a pit, it looks like. Yeah, okay. And now you just put an oSee in a position, you let all the rifles explode all around you, and oSee's job is to simply just find in all the chaos, figure out where the CTs are, right? Whenever a T is looking somewhere else, oSee can cover that. Try to find the most powerful line on the map when they execute on the site. Sometimes it would make sense for him to come to the side of default and just stare into library. Here, oSee is going to sit right in lane, which is quite a brave move to make, but it helps his teammates have space. He can take care of lane himself, and he doesn't have to do anything. So easy to play Counter-Strike. So here he's both watching for the boost. He's watching for the cross. He's being very cognizant of his spawn if he's not going to be there first to make sure that he doesn't get, cleared by a really aggressive CT. Like Brokey. Here's a lane molly. A couple of these missed for Liquid. That one hits. And the idea is just this, to move into this position where the opera has to go back. And naturally, the opera on the CT side Most of the time, they're not going to re-aggress right away. They just won't. They'll just stand behind it. It's actually riflers, I feel like, who get more aggressive behind that. Often enough, but the whole idea is just get this bracket control, force the CTs back, and then wait for a reaction. And then come in to clear things. Oh, wow. Didn't even see your ops. Good try. I don't know how Shock's frags don't like crosshair. I just don't know. I like one of his older crosshairs. That one was like a Roblox crosshair. His older one's like a little thinner, I feel like. So I don't know what res he's on. So again, oSee's bullets are looking for rain, right? They're looking for rain, and whoever's, maybe it's Kerrigan who's sitting a car or something like that supporting rain. So just try. It's not a very wide area of the map, so it's really good to spam a lot, especially through smokes. And when there's so much time on the clock, like I always say this, don't be scared of spamming and letting people know where you are. They know you're somewhere there, you know? It's not a big deal. Wow, that was pretty quick reaction from oSee, but Kerrigan was too clean with it. And that's it. Okay, there have been big problems for FaZe. This is the Coffins Flash, and this is the God Flash. Remember that one. Blinds the most spots on the site without blinding your teammates, and it's really, if not impossible, really hard, if not impossible, to dodge completely. Right here where you spam, where oSee spams there, you can hit them through the second oranges, right in the head if they're standing up. And another successful clean bomb plan, and again in a 3v3. Really bad signs here for the CT side. They've been struggling on the B site. And now Nitro will get boosted up over top of Emo. It's the most North American setup you could possibly have. We love double Emo in North America. Oh my goodness, good thing oSee was actively watching there. Kerrigan walked right under Nitro, and oSee showing what he can do with the rifle. Look at this boy go. 34 health. Still a losable spot. No, he won't. Yeah, he never crouches when he sprays. That's actually a big thing right there. That could have saved him. God damn, that's well handled by oSee. Had a couple of clutches this event. Oh my god. That was so fast. That was just such a fast interaction. That would have made me poop my pants if I was on either side of that in the game. Again, oSee splitting the difference, looking for both the boost and just the regular peek on the boiler, just in case. I like that oSee's always actively thinking, you know. I never see him falling asleep. It looks like there's always some idea behind his position. Moving the rounds forward. Looking to kill the trade fragger here. And that's oSee's nemesis this game down. Everything falls. Is there anyone left on? Oh, there's one in the site. In cold. Careful not to take the fight. Oh, wow, okay. Lets his teammates do that, and he focuses on Rain. Maybe there's a chance that all goes wrong if he's not a little bit more careful there. Looking for the jump spot, looking for the boost. Single scoping is great most of the time because you get to see flashes in your scope. You get to see people walking out around your scope in different positions. A lot of the best operas are single scoped most of the time. Some of them are single scope nearly all of the time, no matter how far the distance. You get to see really high flashes, I think is the big one. And you can always just scope right when you see somebody, or they want to take it towards A this time a little bit. FaZe have been giving Liquid so much space to get in halls, take over bracket quite easily. Brookie's still alive. Oh no, he's not. He's not. Yeah, he is. Yes, he is. I looked at Liquid's players. I was like, it's 5v4. Where's Brookie? Actually, he's not. Okay, yeah, Brookie's not alive. Okay, maybe they could have been more careful about that, but they took the shoulder. It cost them a round. Hey, oSee makes a mistake, they lose the round. Direct correlation. He makes a good play, they win the round. I'm seeing him be very effective this game. And this is just the half that I really didn't focus on when I was casting. Oh god. This is the quad molly. Oh, that's a really, really unfortunate molly right there. That completely separates your from your teammates. This is such an uncomfortable spot. They use a lot of grenades. Oh, but they found Raid through the smoke. Oops. You could go back to A, but this comes down to how many nades you got left. And the other thing is there's only 2 FaZe players alive, lots of time left over, so you can just wait an excruciating amount of time, see if they make that final error, and then take the site from there. But ultimately, I think this would be silly to go B, or sorry, to go A, because you've got a 5v2 at, absolute worst case. Oh, actually, this is what Liquid did. They had Elige run A to clear everything out. And this was a round actually where both FaZe members rotated B. So this also makes sense. And it's something that people used to do a lot more, especially on AT goes. Take a Mac 10, run into a site, and see if they stacked. It doesn't happen quite as much these days. A couple years ago it was a really, really prominent stat, but this is a good idea because, okay, let's say Elige goes A and he sees 2 guys. Easy, go B. Elige goes A and he sees 1 guy. Go B, 4v1. And if Elige goes A, did I go through all 3 options? And he sees no guys, then you just go A. Like we just saw. So that works out beautifully. But you have to be willing to be able to, you have to have a significant material advantage, right? You have to have a number of players alive. If it's like a 4v4 situation, you don't do that. But 5v2, that's how you press that advantage. He saw a foot, so that'll be calm to his teammate. And they'll probably watch their back. God, they still lose to this duel, actually. Oh, I remember oSee trades this. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Oh, that's sick from oSee. Oh, that's so nice, man. He takes... Oh, wow. He knows that Kerrigan's alive in that corner, but he uses his teammate's distraction to take the fight on Banana first. And, of course, if Kerrigan's down there, the Banana guy is going to be completely worry-free about the thought that he's going to get peeked from anywhere else, right? That there's a smoke still up on the bottom steps. That's a great move from oSee. Oh, God. I really was thinking can I call this game GOATsee? Because it's oSee the GOAT, but I think I would get demonetized if I do that, so I don't want to do that. It was just a shower thought, you know what I mean? Damn, they don't win that. Nice try. That was pretty good. It's not every day that we get to talk about T-Side Inferno, so that's always nice. oSee's debut, solid. He had just over a 1.0 rating on the tournament. Again, Liquid didn't win a map, even though they came close, like in that game. It ended in overtime, 1950, I think, for FaZe. oSee on TT sides was great. oSee in the debut was great. I think they are probably feeling very optimistic about this new pickup with him. And I think they established, EG were the only one to win a map at Blast Groups, but I think it feels it feels pretty locked in right now that Liquid will be the #1 NA team. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but, just the presence of Elige, of Nafly, and now oSee, they've already got a much stronger core, I feel like, than most teams in general. So, yeah, what do you guys think about oSee? Is he the future? Is he not a minor? Do you think he's going to carry Liquid to the promised land, or do you think that they'll need an additional roster move? What is your assessment of it? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always,
got my paws all dirty. Looking for a plate, that's why the dogs up early. With it white beer, eat it like a McFlurry. I ain't got time to chill, I'm in a hurry. Peter game, I got it for my daddy ho. Smoking dope, but saying raps out on the patio. My boss said you ain't putting in